Look at that.
Okay, I have
We,
to. I have to push a button. Okay, now I'm all yours.
we are speaking with the one and only Doro Pesch. The new Warlock Triumph and Agony Live box set goes on sale September 24th, 2021. Definitely worth picking up. And as we say here in Montreal, bonjour. Comment allez-vous? How are
Oh,
you?
sure. Hey, very good. Merci beaucoup. All is good, and I'm excited. And we did some first festivals again, some real good festivals, and yeah, and
No,
I'm
no
excited.
drive-ins this time.
What? Oh, no drive-ins. No, that was last year. But this year we did some other special shows, some beach chair concerts. But it was great. I tell you, it was great practice. Now we had the first couple of festivals in Belgium, the Alcatraz Festival in the UK, rocking the ball, and we were flying. Everybody was, in good shape, and we were ready to roll. And so a little hard work, a little practice. That's some good. It's good, and we could keep it going. So I don't, I
I
must
would
say it
have
was
to
pretty good.
I would have to assume that of all the rock stars out there, you're probably the one that the pandemic must have hurt the most because you love being on stage. Everybody else seems to have been on vacation and on a beach in Hawaii or what, but I can just see you sitting at home going, "Please, I want to play."
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The tour bus is my home. The
Yeah.
fans, that's like that's my blood. And yeah, it was hard. But then I thought, okay, I got to get busy. And I went back into the studio. And then last year I think we talked about the best of Magic
Yep.
Diamonds with 56 songs, best of rock ballads and red treasures. And yeah, and then there was one song on this album. There was Make Time for Love of the Triumph and Agony album we recorded a few years ago. And I thought, okay, if we can't go back on tour this year, which we couldn't, then I go back into the studio. And then I worked on the Triumph and Agony live album and Blu-ray. It's a DVD Blu-ray, and I think, yeah, it was absolutely worth it. I would have never done it if I would have, stayed on tour. So it was good. So I was always busy,
Yeah.
doing something, mixing something, listening to good stuff, and yeah.
It's been great for fans because every band now has a deluxe edition box set of something. It's fantastic. We
It's
need we need
cool.
more breaks. I mean, we need breaks without a disease, but we need more breaks because we get all this new music. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, right. And I would have never even checked out all the archives, and I found some great bootleg tapes, and like good stuff. And I never even had a minute to sit down to check things out, listen to old stuff. And now I even got some stuff from the early 80s. My first demos I found while I was, looking for something else, and on cassette. And
Good old
it
cassette.
was good. So yeah, on cassette, and the Triumph and Agony Live is on cassette as well. I wanted to, do it all old school. So
That's the way
and
to
I
do
even
it.
bought a cassette player. Can you imagine? It's like
Listen, when CDs came out, I gave up on everything. But all right, let me ask you about this then. It is a live set. For those fans that don't know, is it a single show you did? Is it all these different tapes that you stuck together? What are they getting exactly?
actually, we were celebrating the 30-year anniversary of Triumph and Agony a few years ago, and then we played an America tour, a
Mhm.
Spain tour, did Norway Rock and Grass Pop Festival, and Sweden Rock. And Sweden Rock is a great festival. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but
I'm
it's a
familiar with
fantastic
Sweden
festival.
Rock, and I
Yeah,
need to go someday. It's great.
yes, it's really top notch. So the very first time we ever played Triumph and Agony in its entirety was Sweden Rock, and I tell you, it had the most magic. The camera work was great. There were like 60,000 or 50,000 people there, all going crazy. So the CD is a combination between Sweden Rock and a couple of songs of the Spain tour, and the DVD is all Sweden Rock, the festival, and the documentary. It's 90 minutes long, and and all that good stuff, and some bootlegs are on there as well. And I talk about like the making of the original Triumph and Agony, and we had some bits and pieces of the Megadeth tour we did in 1988. So, like for diehard fans, I think it's
They're
really
gonna love
cool
it. So,
stuff.
so let me
Yeah.
ask you about the making of the album because on the album you had some guest stars on there, or you had guest musicians. And I'm going to start with Sterling Campbell. He has done mostly the pop stuff: Cyndi Lauper, Duran Duran, David Bowie, B-52s. How did that connection come about? And were you looking for that style of drumming? Because he's not a heavy metal drummer. So were you looking for a more upbeat, poppy sound for that song?
Not pop, but somebody of this caliber was like that quality to play with people like David Bowie. They have a deep understanding. And
Uh-huh.
we had some other drummers, for example, Cozy Powell, he
Yeah.
played on Tattoo Vivo, like the really heavy, powerful drums. His drumsticks were like as thick as my arms. So we had a couple of songs which were very, very soulful, like, for example, Metal Tango and Für Immer. And it needed some special things, like stuff with like a lot of finesse and sensitivity. So Sterling was awesome. I didn't even know that he played with all these other big acts. He came in and he played the stuff, and I thought, oh, and that made me sing like even better. So we had like really heavy, fast, heavy stuff, and then we had the really soulful stuff. And Metal Tango, there was a song which was actually really taking a risk, like a tango thing with metal guitars. So it
Yeah.
needed somebody who was really like, who can really do it good. And Sterling is a fantastic guy and super nice, and very talented. And no wonder that he can do all these bands. I didn't even know it, but
Yeah, listen, he's doing all the big bands. So let me just quickly ask you about that. Um, and I don't mean to any disrespect to Michael. Was Michael just not able to handle that drums, and you needed this guy to come in, or you just thought, "Hey, man, we have a chance to work with Sterling. We're going to work with Sterling."
actually, Michael, he was a great
Yeah.
drummer, but like the record, it took like about a year. So he played a couple of songs, and then we wrote some more songs, and so he was back in Europe. And then we thought, okay, we need somebody, to put like a nice little
Okay.
drum thing on the demos. So Sterling came in, and then it wasn't anymore the demos, it was the real record, so we kept it. So no, Michael was a great guy, but I met him when I think he was 14 when he joined Warlock, so he was really young. And and sometimes you need like a heavy crack, who can just deliver. And Michael was great too, but for certain things, and especially Metal Tango and Für Immer, and these were like so special songs, they needed something really like somebody who's like, who's really experienced. And
Yeah,
but
well, yeah.
Michael
I
was
mean,
a great
he had
guy.
been touring with Cyndi Lauper at the time. I mean, you can't get really much better than that. I mean, that's some great experience
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, and
Uh,
David Bowie, I played a couple of times with David Bowie people. For example, Earl Slick, he played on one of our records, and I
yeah,
thought, wow, he had the best musicians. So
yeah. I'll get, and let me get over to Cozy and Tommy and all these because I really want to go deep on the record. It was the final Warlock record. It was the last one. So,
yeah, actually, it wasn't our plan. But the
right.
thing was, I had two managers, and after the Triumph and Agony album, we were working on a new album. There was the First Major record, and then our German manager, he left. He left to Turkey, and he was the merchandiser as well. But we couldn't track him down. We could never talk about it. And suddenly, we found out that he stole our name Warlock. And he wanted to keep the name Warlock to sell all these T-shirts because, in the 80s, that was big time. So it took me 20 years to get the
The
rights
name.
to the name Warlock back. So I never wanted to change Warlock. I never want to make a solo thing. But one record, we thought, okay, we put it under the moniker Doro. And then the next record will be back to Warlock. But that took
Never
20
it didn't
years.
pan out.
so
But
so it was not the plan, yes.
but let me ask you this though: when you think back to it, that it sort of became de facto the last one, does it bring up some sadness? Does it bring up some anger? Does it bring up, hey man, we had a great run? Like, how do you sort of look back on it? Because there is how the fans look at it, like, yeah, and then listen, there's the business side, like the guy running off to Turkey, it
Yeah,
pisses you
yeah.
off.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's dead. Somebody from like the magazine Art Shock, it's a Dutch magazine. It was the main writer. He called me one time. He said, Doro, your old manager died. He got poisoned. And I said, okay. So he probably did some stuff to other people too in Germany, and they're not kidding. So I don't know. I don't know for sure. That's what I heard. But actually, we were on tour. Like I found out about it while we were on tour with the legendary Ronnie James Dio in Europe. So I was so, like so excited. The fans were great. This record became really huge. Oh yeah, became a big song. Für immer, the German one became, a big single. So I thought everything will be okay, and I never took care of the business end of it. So I was just touring. Then in America, we got the great tour with Megadeth and Sanctuary. That was in '88. So there was, we were like flying. It was great. It was a great time when metal was so huge. And then and the next record after Force Majeure, I know you love Kiss, and I was a big Kiss fan growing up. I still am. And then Gene Simmons was the producer of this album we did in '89, '90. So I was in heaven. So I didn't feel sad, because we were just like, every day was a new adventure, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, it was a little bit difficult when grunge hit. Then it all was like going down for us. So it was, we just tried to survive. I did so many records in America, but they weren't released. And then in 2000, there was the first record release again. It was the Calling of the Wild album. And there were 2 duets on it with Lemmy, my beloved Lemmy Kilmister. And so I always thought, man, you just do what you have to do. You just go forward. And, when you think about it too long, then maybe you get sad. But everything was, like, it was so much excitement. The fans, when I see the fans, then then other stuff doesn't matter, that doesn't count. So I must say I enjoyed the making of the Triumph and Agony so much, and it was such a joy to play all these songs live. And we played some songs we have never played them live. So there was a totally new thing when we played all these songs we have never even rehearsed, like Make Time for Love or Kiss of Death or 3 Minute One in Cold Cold World. I think we played maybe once or twice, but that was such a joy to play them again. Usually we were always, we always stuck with the anthems like Oh Yeah and the big hits and Für immer, East Meets West, Metal Tango. But now playing all these other songs, and then we thought, wow, this record had so much, depth and quality, and it was the right time, right place, and MTV and Headbangers Ball played all these videos inside out. So it was like the time was definitely on our side. And sometimes it's not on our side, or not so much. So you have to just, you just have to deal with what you get, and then make the best out of it. But Triumph and Agony was definitely, and I always want to go, to America. So on my 3rd album tour still, I could do a little promotion tour for 3 days. And then after 2 days, I thought, I want to stay. So I could stay in New York, and then everything fell into place. And I met these great people. And Tommy Boyle, my guitar player, which we always stayed friends. I called him up a few years ago.
On the upside, grunge might have been difficult in the 90s, but 80s rock is still here in 2021. You go find me a grunge band somewhere. They're all gone.
You're right, man. You're right. I think that's so awesome that, the 80s, the big
won.
records, big bands, they have staying power. I just talked to a girl. She said, I just saw Judas Priest and Sabaton, which they're actually younger, but Priest, that was my first tour in '86, and I'm so glad that all the great bands we love, they're still big, and and there was just a Metallica special. I did something on TV for the Black album. I thought, wow, that's 30 years ago, and I met my old boss from, it was back then Polygram. And he was a Swiss guy, and I just met him yesterday, and we were talking about these great times. And I was great. The 80s, man, I tell you, and early 90s, and then 90s, okay. But so I'm really excited, and I always think of the good things. I always try to keep the positive things in mind, and like not dwell on like negative stuff. But when I write a book, then I tell you all like
all the dirt. No, but
all the dirt. Yeah.
As a fan, I like the 90s with what some of the bands did. Scorpions did Eye to Eye, and Def Leppard did Slang, and they did stuff that they weren't supposed to do. and it was just nice to see them spread their wings. And so, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
it worked out.
I did a couple of records, which I don't know if you know them, but I love them so much. And one song is a fan favorite. That's "Love Me in Black."
Yep.
"Love Me in Black." I'm on 98.
That was the one that wasn't released here for a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time not released. But all the diehard fans, they know this album. They especially know the song "Love Me in Black." We always play it. We love it. And "Machine to Machine," that was released in '95, but not in the States. And "Angels Never Die," we did it with Jack Parney in New Jersey. It was awesome. So many things. But the diehard fans, they collect everything. And I know in Canada they have like still great record stores where the people who own the record stores, they always get all that good stuff, even though it's probably sinfully expensive, but all the diehards, they know all that good stuff. But yeah, sometimes, I know in the grunge times, great bands as well. It wasn't, like it wasn't rock or metal like we used to know in the 80s, but some great big records, but I never felt grunge, so I always want to experiment with something else, and I think "Love Me in Black" I'm still
listen, I didn't get any of the 90s. I'm not running out to a Soul Asylum show anytime soon,
I hear you.
No offense.
I didn't feel it. And coming from the big 80s where everything was about like a big show, and when you are growing up with Kiss, you want to see a big stage set and pyrotechnics and all the other bands, like, you want to see like 20 Marshall stacks. And then, in the grunge time, it was like nothing. Everybody was like a gray pullover looking at their feet, and it was like hard to get used to that. Yes. But I never thought that metal would come back in such a big way, and I'm so happy that it did.
Because it's fun music. I mean, you listen to whether it's Motley Crue or Quiet Riot or Kiss or whoever. Yeah. It's about living life to the fullest and just having some fun and not worrying about the boss and the work and then you listen to the 90s stuff and it's all about how horrible life is, how miserable you are, your mom was mad. Yeah. And it's just like, ugh. Stop.
Yeah, it's depressive enough. Like, no, the world is like in such a bad state. So I think, some positive, some good energy, powerful and positive. And I tell you what, I think the songs on the Triumph and Agony album, they could have been written a week ago or yesterday. They're all like, they still, I still feel they're like timeless, and like, and songs like "Oh We Are," that's so needed today when everybody feels like we are all in it together. Oh, we are all we need, singing together, just like,
Fully agree.
Crazy.
Fully agree. Same with "I Rule the Ruins."
I Rule
great
the
songs.
Ruins. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Let me ask you about this here. On the bonus edition in 2011, you had Something Wicked This Way Comes, written by Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
What's the story on that? Was it written for Triumph and Agony and you didn't use it? Was it written somewhere later and you decided, hey, now that we're doing a bonus edition, where does that come from?
Hey, Mitch, I don't even know which bonus edition you mean.
The 2011 CD bonus.
Okay.
But anyway, the song "Something Wicked This Way Comes," regardless of where it showed up, what's the story of those writing moments with Gene? Like, did he just give you some songs and said pick and choose, or did you sit down and say, Gene, I want to hire you to write songs? What was sort of that?
Yeah, he played me a couple of songs and I immediately thought, oh, I want to sing it. And Something Wicked, he was actually, he showed me in 1989. So this edition, it might be like a UK edition, but we didn't have anything to do with it. So sometimes people put stuff together. So it was definitely written, it was for our record, which came out in 1990. And then I was a big fan of the Elder album. I know many Kiss fans, they don't think it's their favorite, but this one song, Only You, I always loved. And then Gene, he was showing me a demo. He was rewriting the lyrics, and I said, oh, Gene, I want to sing it immediately. And there was another song which I love, Mirage. Oh, that was cool. So I must say, being a Kiss fan, man, when you hear something, it's like, oh man, I want to do it.
Gene
I want to do it. Yes,
and Only You is great. And I'll say this because I'm not a fan of The Elder, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
And I'll tell you why, because you know music is personal, and it's
Yeah,
those moments that connect.
oh,
So,
totally.
um, my dad never wanted me to have any Kiss records. Just never bought anything. Never, 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 never. He hated it. He didn't want anything to do with it. And the Elder came out, and he bought it for me. And so
Ah,
there was this big
that's a
moment
no-go.
of like, oh, my dad broke through, and here we are. And he bought it in downtown Montreal, and we drove home 45 minutes, and I was so excited. And then I put it on, and it just didn't sound like Kiss. And that moment has stayed with me for 40 years. That it's just like my dad finally gave in, and it wasn't Kiss. And I looked at the because it was a vinyl, it was all brown, and I was like, "Where's the fucking picture of Gene in the makeup?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where's the
And
paintings? And yeah,
and it wasn't there. And so that sort of childhood disappointment has just, and I just, every time I look at that album I just go, fuck you. And it's not
yeah,
because of the music, it's because
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
And
I can totally understand. Mitch, I can totally
yeah,
understand. Yeah, I totally understand. But this one song, Only You, I
Only
think,
You
oh
is
my, the
fantastic.
chords, the
It is.
melody. I love to play it live, and it has something. It is special, and everybody thinks I sing the song to them. Every single person thinks
Yeah,
Only You. It's like, oh, it always has a great atmosphere. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But we
it's a
wrote
great
so
song,
many
but
songs for that record, and and then we picked the best ones. So that's how it happened, and then we recorded it in LA in the Fortress studio where Kiss recorded Hot in the Shade. And oh man, and me being a Kiss fan, I couldn't get over it. Every day I went into the studio, I was driving my car, and I thought my heart was pumping, I was getting nervous. It's like, when you're a fan, you're always a fan. It's not that you change when you're going into the studio. It's like
yeah,
it was so much fun, and I met Gene 2 years ago. We played on the same festival in the Czech Republic, the Masters of Rock, great festival. And then he said, "Hey, why don't you come up on stage and sing a song?" And I said, "Oh, okay." And then we did War Machine together. And
wow.
I said, "Oh, that was my first time playing
You did the
together
Brian
on
Adams
stage."
song.
The Brian Adams song.
Yeah, he wrote War Machine.
I'm
See?
right.
You
Right.
should have done Only You.
Yeah,
Um
yeah. But yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't, I wasn't aware of it, but it's still a great song. It had a great groove, and
it's a great group.
loved it, loved it.
Um, let me get over to Cozy Powell. Obviously, Cozy passed away, but just one of the greatest drummers, and of course, he's done his time with Whitesnake and all these other bands.
Yes, yes.
Um, having Cozy on your album is it's just great. Period. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if your drummer is good or not. Doesn't matter if Sterling Campbell's there or not. Cozy phones you, say, "Come on in." Talk to me about that. And did you sit in the studio and just stare at him and go, "It's fucking Cozy Powell. Look at that." I mean, was that?
We were all standing around him, and yeah, his drumsticks were like really this thick. I
Yeah,
never seen
they were tree trunks.
unbelievable. And then it was like, yeah, we were writing all these songs and stuff, and then we had the song Touch of Evil, and I thought I want to really scream my heart out, like really, like not sing, like really scream. And I talked to my manager at the time. His name was Alex Grove, and I said, "Alex, I need somebody with a lot of power, like really, like out of this world." Our drummer Michael, he was already in Germany, and he said, "Oh, I have a great surprise for you." I said, "Who is it?" And he said, "No, just going to the studio." It was the Power Station studio in New York, in Manhattan. And next day I went in, and then Cozy Powell was there. He said, "Hi, Doro, I heard you need some power." And I thought, oh. And then, we played him the Touch of Evil song. And he said, okay, wait, I'm going to do it. And then he was playing, and we were all like, I tell you, it was so powerful that everybody's heart almost was standing still, because it was pumping, like the whole room was like vibrating. It was unbelievable. And then the next day I went in to do my vocals, and and I, as planned, I was screaming, and between the Cozy Powell drums, and Tommy played guitars already, he's high energy and crazy, and and I was screaming, and in the vocal booth, there was a little window, it was closed, and then suddenly a ball of lightning came in, made a round, and went back out. And I thought, oh my God. And then everybody in the studio looked at me and they said, Doro, what did you do? Did you raise hell or what? And then they all said, okay, let's finish for the night, because everybody was really scared. And they said, well, if that thing would hit you, you would die instantly. So I thought, okay, let's call it a day. It was anyhow 4:00 in the morning again. So we went home, and then next day we listened to it, and everybody said, that's it, that's your vocal. And I said, Doro, please don't do it again. Who knows what will happen? You will set the studio on fire, And so that's actually, what you hear. Cozy's drums and the screams and the lightning ball, like in the middle of all that. So it was actually, there was so much energy, and I think I never felt it anymore like this, like a group of people just going crazy. And I was like, that's probably the beauty of that song and the whole record. And I felt totally free, because the third album, True Steel, when we had our first album, there was Burning Witches, and Hellbound was the second album. Yep. Third was True Steel, and it was the first worldwide release. And then immediately all, like, the record company people said, yeah, it needs to sell millions and stuff. And we had so much pressure. And then it got remixed, and, the sound was more like polished and radio friendly. We thought, oh no, for a metal band, we were metal and not like pop. So the third record was really hard. I couldn't even sing my lyrics anymore. They got tweaked, they wanted to, calm them down. And I thought, oh no. So some of the songs I really sang under tears. So when I went to New York, and when we started working on the Triumph and Agony, I felt so free and so good. And everybody said, yeah, Doro, just go for it. And I said, really? And I remembered, like, when we did True Steel, they always said, calm down, don't scream, don't sing so loud. And I thought, okay. And then suddenly there were people supported, and they said, just be yourself, just go for it, just, belt it out, do what you love. And I thought, oh, okay. And then that's probably why it feels so good and so free. There was no restrictions, just everybody having fun, and, and really metal.
Well, let me ask you this, and we'll wrap up on this. In the old days, or in the 80s, when you look at, a lot of the singers, whether it's Sebastian Bach or John Bon Jovi, it was all about singing as high as possible. And that's what you just said you were doing. Is that difficult now to reproduce those songs? You sort of wish, maybe I should have sung a little bit more down the middle, because it's got to be rough as we get older. It's got to be. Right?
Which I never felt the difference. I
Okay.
can always sing. I can sing high and loud and scream. It doesn't matter. When I see the fans, then everything just pops out. I don't have to think about it, and I just go for it. And when the audience is on fire, oh man, I can sing 10 times better, 10 times louder. So I don't feel any difference.
Nothing,
and it's fun, like live. It's in the studio, it's one thing that's good and cool, but live, I think that's like,
once you get the audience involved, you get that energy.
Yes, exactly. And
even if they're in the cars.
yeah. But that was really good practice, and it was actually fun as well, I must say. So I'm happy that we did all these little things that were all like really challenging. It was hard work, but it was worth it. And now having the Triumph and Agony live, I would have never done it if I would have been on tour, if it would have been normal. And I'm so happy, and I hope the fans love it. And it's like live, I think it sounds even better than the original. Yeah.
And the box, the packaging is great. I love the packaging, and they're even selling it with a little statuette, right? A little.
Right. The statue. That's the one with the cassette. Like, right. So if you guys are really old school, the cassette looks really cute, and it's like the CD and Blu-ray, and that's the. Oh my God, that's the box set. That's the.
There's the statue. I love the statue.
That's a little action figure, and you can even throw it; it will not break.
Oh, that's the greatest.
Dogs or cats, they can crawl all over. So it's like, I think it looks pretty cool. I would have put a little bit more makeup on, but it's all hand painted, and it's just a gimmick, us like with the Kiss dolls, with the Kiss figurines. So I always
Yeah, but
want
I
to
mean
have
that's what I like about physical product over streaming is
yes,
that you get a box, you get a figurine,
exactly.
you get the music, which is ultimately the most important thing, but you got something to hold on to, and
Yeah, to put on your shelf and stuff. And then
yeah,
we have a big album cover. I don't have it here because it's not manufactured, or it's actually it's in the mail. But that one was the biggest album cover in the world in '87. And here the record is in my tummy. And now we have even a record cover. It's twice as big. And there's a marbled vinyl in. And one girl, she said, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I will put it in front of my window so no criminal will ever think of breaking into my apartment." And I thought, oh,
no, but I mean,
that's good. So,
I'm looking at this over here. This is not yours. This is John Waite. It's signed.
oh,
You can't get you can't sign an MP3. You need a
no,
product.
you need a big thing.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And I'm a big record vinyl collector, so I love vinyl. I still do.
Yeah.
And
Hey, when
yeah,
you go to a show, you need to have that CD or the vinyl to be signed. You can't. I mean, forget
yeah.
the Spotify. But
Yeah,
there we
yeah,
go.
yeah. I hear you. I feel the same, and we
So,
like the good stuff. And yeah, and I want to bring it back, especially for Triumph and Agony Live. Next year we do a new album,
yep.
And we are still with Nuclear Blast. And this one I could do on my own label, so I could do all these things and all the action figure and cassette, and like a normal record company would say, "Hey, you're crazy. We don't do anything. We just do Spotify and no box set." But I think it's
Well,
important, the collectors,
that's
the diehards.
since you mentioned Lemmy, Ozzy Osbourne just put out the No More Tears 30th anniversary, and it's only on streaming.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad. I would have, I would buy it immediately if it would
Well,
be on nice vinyl, or
well, they do have it
whatever.
on vinyl, but they don't have it on CD, and that's whoa.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, yeah.
I
No,
disappeared
CD
for a
is like,
second. But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. Okay, but you say they have it on vinyl.
they
I'm
have it on
glad,
vinyl,
but
but they don't
CDs,
have it on CD, and they
yeah.
have Lemmy and Ozzy doing a duet on I think Hellraiser, and
Oh,
I can't I,
cool.
I can't buy it because it's not in a format that I like. But anyway, uh, less about me, more about you. Um, the box set September 24th, and a
Yeah,
new
actually,
album
actually,
next year.
Mitch,
Yeah.
it is now October 1st in North America. Yeah,
Oh.
in America and Canada, because there's something stuck, yeah, it's like the shipping. There was something like
Oh.
in these crazy times, I tell you, all it's like, so it's now the 1st of October. I told everybody 24th, but last week I found out in North America it's 1st of October. So the fans, I apologize. Fans have to wait a little bit
They can
longer.
wait a week. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, a week is okay. I remember sometimes we put out records in the '80s, and it was half a year later, or even 1 year later in Japan or in America. So 1 week. That's like just to
Yeah.
let you guys know. Mm-hmm.
It's like the Scorpions. They release stuff in Europe in February, and then they release it in North America in October, and it's just like
Yeah, and everybody's buying
the European import. Yeah.
of course.
Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, and just since you mentioned you did start your own record label,
Yeah,
is that just basically to be able to do this and have your creative control and
yeah,
own
yeah.
your masters kind of thing, or is there something else? Do you plan on signing new bands or?
I didn't do that yet, but maybe in the future, if somebody's like, yeah, if I find a great new band, yes. But so far, I did only our records, and I got so many records. I got the rights back, like all my time when I was at SPV and AFM, like these 10 years. So all the rights came back to me, and I thought, oh, that's like, that sucks if you can't buy the record anymore. And now I can do all these funny things like
Right.
picture disc and and like shaped vinyl, and and action figures, and last record there was the Magic Diamonds album, and I could
Yeah.
have my own perfume, the True at Heart perfume for men and for women. So all these like little things like for the diehard collectors. So yeah, that's the reason why I did it. And yeah, a new normal album will be on Nuclear Blast, but for all these other things, and even old DVDs, they can't get them anymore. So I'm just in the middle of doing, of releasing more stuff, which is impossible to get and was maybe never released in the States. So yeah, we're doing all kinds of stuff, and it was great. Like when we couldn't go on tour, I always had something to do. I didn't get any time to get depressed because there was always something going on, So, and mixing and music and and watching all like the live footage and what I told you in the beginning, that I even found my old first cassettes. I tell you, man, I think diehard fans will really love that because the songs were great. And, I didn't know what I was singing because I couldn't speak English that well, but it sounds cool. It sounds very metal and lots of speed metal and screaming in that. And
now, just real quick, with the SPV and those older records or the records from the 2000 stuff, when you do get around to re-releasing them, are you going to re-release them as they are, or are you going to go back in and recut some vocals and tweak them? And
yeah, actually, the one we talked about, this one was all like, that was last year, the Magic Diamonds album.
Yeah.
And it has like 56 songs on it. And most of it was remixed. And I put some nice live versions on and some demos, like some really cool demos, which I thought they sound the best. I always feel the demos are sometimes better than the normal real record. But yeah, so everything is always tweaked or at least remastered, and bonus tracks are on, and some cool demos. So there's always something special, or at least picture this or cut out, or like something
fan friendly. You got to be friendly to the fans. They love that stuff. I love that stuff.
Me too. Me
more
too.
The
and
merrier.
I'm still a metalhead and a fan. I buy all that stuff from other people, and it's like, it's so much fun to have something what really makes you feel good, and so and I like to give that to the fans, to the diehards, that it makes them like feel like, yeah, man, it's like, sometimes stuff is sinfully expensive to even make, which nobody realizes. And now, since I have my own label, oh my God, sometimes I thought I overdid it a little bit, but if the fans love it, I'm happy, that's what it's all about. So yeah.
And that's the way it should be. Listen, speaking of other re-releases, you mentioned Metallica's Black Album. They did that 30th anniversary, and it's just terrific. It has completely put me back into Metallica. I had sort of stopped listening to them, not because I hate them or anything, just because I have other stuff to listen to. And then that came out, and I'm totally deep diving on Metallica again. So that's what it's all about. You get something for the fans love, and
yeah. Oh man, I would have loved to do a song as well. I did one time Nothing Else Matters, and I think it came out so great. I think it came out really good, but I heard that many people were working on it, and Elton John and all these people from all different genres. I think that's so great. And I remember the first gigs we did together with Metallica, early 80s, but you could feel there was something so special about him. And last time I've seen them in a Rock in Rio, I think in front of 600,000 people or something. And it was like, oh my God. And I thought, wow. So it was quite inspiring, motivating, and I haven't seen him in a long time now. I remember when we were kids, when everybody had like long hair, and and it was like teenagers, and but I remember that so well, and it was awesome.
The good old days. Anyway, folks.
Oh yes.
Head out and get Warlock or Doro Warlock Triumph and Agony Live.
Yes,
box set will be available October 1st.
Yes,
and, you get the figurine, you get physical product, you get audio, video. What more could you ask for? It's beautiful.
Exactly. Enjoy,
and it's reasonably priced. I'm looking at the price on this.
Really?
Site.
Oh, yeah. Good. I'm happy to hear that, because I heard, I'm doing social media, and I never thought I would do it, but now I'm on Instagram, it's Doro Metal Queen, and Facebook, Doro Pesch Official, and I always look at the comments, and then they're like, hundreds of great comments, and there's always one person who said, "Oh, that sucks. That's much too expensive. Are you crazy? I don't like your figurine. Oh no, that breaks my heart." But I'm glad when everybody else likes it, and
there's
but
one.
it's all up to taste. And I mean, you don't have to buy it, so you can just like we said before, you can get it on streaming or whatever you like. But I like the real stuff, and and something more than just like.
That's what I always have to say about people who complain. Oh, the ticket prices are too. The concert you don't have to go. There's no law that's forcing you to go.
Exactly, and sitting like in the first row, with special tickets for thousands of dollars.
There's no. If you don't want to go, don't go. But stop complaining all the time. It's aggravating. Anyway, let's stick to the Triumph and more Triumph, less Agony. Let's go that. Especially since I'm Canadian, we love our Triumph here.
Yes,
Montreal. Merci beaucoup. Always a pleasure.
Oh, merci beaucoup. Bonne chance. All the best to everybody, and thank you for having me on your show again, Mitch. It's always great talking to you. And the first time face to face, like wow, man, awesome.
I know. I know. And my hair. It's been a long time since those 80s. Let me tell you. Oh, poor me. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Mitch, all the best and all the metalheads. I love you. See you soon.
Cheers. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Let me, there you go.
Yeah.